So the hierarchy that I mentioned is 6 steps. And I'm going to give an example as I go through this. Let's give an example of social anxiety, right? So you get anxious when around people. So the first thing you do is you activate that. You can bring the intuition into awareness. So one way, of course, is to be around people. You can also activate it by remembering the time you were there, by noticing the somatic sensation in your body and bringing that up, or by thinking of a metaphor and going into that image of, and really hearing and connecting to those thoughts and beliefs. So now you've activated that. Then you got to start understanding that. Okay, why do I feel anxiety around people? Well, because I believe that I need to be constantly vigilant around them or I'll be rejected. Okay, what's important about that? What's important about not being rejected? Well, if I'm rejected, then I will never be loved. Okay, well, what's important about being loved? Well, if I'm never loved, then I'll be alone forever. And so now we have this external behavior, which is being really anxious and aware about people, causing this internal state of being with people forever instead of being alone for them. So that's the belief, that's the understanding we have now of why we have this external behavior. Once you understand that, you begin to accept it. I understand why I would have come to this understanding that people are alone. I can accept that there's a positive intention here, and feel gratitude for that, and feel love for this part of me that had that. I can maybe even understand the memories, and I understand why, as a young child, I might have come to this belief. And I can also accept that this belief isn't serving me, that this anxiety maybe isn't helping me be accepted, isn't helping me be not alone. And I can accept that as well. Now, once I've accepted that, I've set the groundwork. These first 3 are the groundwork. Activation lays the groundwork for understanding. Understanding lays the groundwork for acceptance. But all of these lays the groundwork for beginning to challenge it. And I do that very gently in step 4 here by beginning to question the intuition, introducing new information or perspectives, not by figuring out what they will be, but by simply throwing in questions. Is it true that by being vigilant, it will stop me from being alone forever? Is it true that I'll be alone forever if I'm not vigilant with people? Interaction with people, other than the idea that I need to be constantly vigilant so I don't be alone forever. I begin to ask questions that begins to loosen up this way of seeing this perspective a little bit. Now, once those questions start to loosen up, I can begin to dialogue. Okay, so maybe there's a little bit of truth that I can't just be totally unaware when I'm interacting with people. I need to understand the social dynamics, but also it doesn't need to be this crazy graspy fit, right? So one part of me is like, yes, this is still right, but another part of me is like, but also maybe this full anxiety is not helping in terms of creating this. So I'm dialoguing between different aspects of myself. And through this dialogue, they're beginning to integrate each other's perspectives. And there's more loosening here as this part begins to see more and more that this tight generalization about how the world works that it was holding on to has a lot more nuance than it initially expected. And now that it's loose, I can directly challenge it. So I can say, okay, so previously I had this anxiety, but now what is an alternative way of being? Couldn't I instead just be present and loving and aware? And then if a situation comes up that I need to think about, I can step back and be a little bit more careful and figure out what to do and then come back to presence. How would that feel? So I'm directly challenging the original intuition about what to do in the situation with a new way of being. And at any point in this hierarchy, you can get into this reconsolidation moment. And at that point, you'll do what's called integration